All right, let's talk about procrastination. We've all been told the same story, right? That it's some kind of personal failing, a problem with our mindset. But what if I told you that's only half the story? What if, for some of the world's highest achievers, procrastination isn't a bug in their psychology, it's a bug in the system? Let's dive in.
So, this is the big question. For forever, the consensus has been clear. It's all in your head. It's a mindset issue. But what if that's wrong? What if the real cause of delay isn't about your internal psychology, but about your external process?
You know this story. I mean, it's everywhere. Self-help books, podcasts, you name it. The idea is that procrastination comes from that nagging, harsh inner critic. You know, that little voice of self-doubt and fear of failure whispering that you're just not good enough. That's the conventional wisdom.
But what if that wisdom isn't the whole picture? I want you to just look at this number for a second. Just the number itself. It comes from a huge global survey, and honestly, it turns everything we think we know about procrastination on its head. It's a clue to a hidden psychological pattern.
Okay, so to crack the code of that number, we need to understand that people kind of run on different psychological operating systems. One of the big ones is called the orange mindset. This is the mindset of the strategist, the entrepreneur, the classic high achiever. It's a way of seeing the world that is just obsessed with efficiency, strategy, and getting a return on investment.
And here's the big reveal. That number, negative 0.0735, it's a negative correlation. So what does that actually mean in plain English? It means the more you think like a high achiever, the stronger your orange operating system is, the less likely you are to blame your inner critic for procrastination. For this group, the problem isn't in their head, it's in the workflow.
And that right there is the fundamental split. While most of us are trained to look inward when we delay, we beat ourselves up, the orange mindset immediately looks outward. Procrastination isn't some deep personal weakness. No, it's a data point. It's a signal that the strategy is bad, the ROI is unclear, or the workflow is just plain broken. They don't see a character flaw, they see a design flaw.
And once you see this, you start seeing it everywhere in the world of high performance. Think about David Allen's Getting Things Done. The whole point is to get tasks out of your head and into an external system. Or James Clear's Atomic Habits, which is all about engineering your environment for success. And of course, Elon Musk's first principles thinking is kind of the ultimate example of this. Forget your assumptions, break the whole thing down, and redesign the system from scratch.
And get this, that first number wasn't a fluke. The data shows this is a really consistent pattern. The orange mindset also has a negative correlation with blaming things like ADHD, or having a plate that's too full, or analysis paralysis. Every single time, this mindset pushes back on internal excuses and reframes the problem as an external one. The message is just crystal clear. Fix the system, not yourself.
But the orange way of thinking is just one way of seeing the world. To really get the full picture, we need to look at the other procrastination codes, because each psychological operating system has a completely different reason for hitting the brakes.
So for the blue mindset, which is all about order, structure, and duty, procrastination is basically a moral failure. It's a breakdown of discipline. The solution isn't to find a better system, it's to have more discipline and just follow the rules that are already there.
Then you've got the green mindset, which is focused on community, empathy, and harmony. For them, procrastination is a symptom of burnout or feeling overwhelmed. The solution isn't to fix the workflow, it's to heal the person through understanding, through self-care, and through supporting each other.
And for the red mindset, well, that's all about power, dominance, and taking action now. So procrastination is just a sign of weakness. It's fear. The only way you beat it is by an act of pure will. You conquer the task and you impose your power on it.
So why does any of this matter? I mean, who cares about these different codes? Well, this is where it gets really powerful. Because once you can measure these mindsets, you can start to predict how people will react to things. The data becomes a game changer for forecasting the ripple effects of any decision.
Let's make this super concrete. Imagine a company has to cut costs, so they decide to put everyone on unpaid leave for 2 weeks. Now, conventional wisdom says that's a total disaster for morale, but the data shows a much more interesting story.
So if your team runs on a purple or tribal mindset, their reaction is surprisingly positive. I know, it sounds nuts, but they see it as a shared sacrifice for the good of the tribe. Suffering together actually strengthens their bond and their loyalty to the group.
Now take that same action with an orange team, our high achievers. The reaction is a complete disaster.
It's deeply negative. They see it as a forced loss. You're literally stopping them from achieving, from winning. It's a huge red flag that the company is failing, and you can bet they're already looking for the exit.
And what about a green, community-focused team? They will also accept it, but for a totally different reason than the purple team. They'll do it out of solidarity. If taking a hit to their pay means their colleagues don't get laid off, they will make that sacrifice out of empathy. So you see, same action, 3 completely different, predictable outcomes.
This is what we mean by the hidden wiring of an organization. These mindsets are the invisible currents that determine everything. If you're blind to that wiring, every decision you make is a total gamble. But if you can see it, you can accurately predict whether a choice is going to create cohesion or trigger a complete meltdown.
So this all leads to a totally new way of managing, a new kind of leadership calculus. Step 1, you survey your team to measure these invisible psychological states. Step 2, you use that data to create a clear profile of your organization. Step 3, you model potential actions to simulate their ripple effects. And only then, step 4, you act, choosing the path that the data shows is the best for the entire system.
And this all brings us to a final, pretty wild question. We've just walked through a world where feelings we thought were purely human, things like trust and fear, can actually be measured and modeled. A world where empathy, in a way, becomes computable. So I'll just leave you with this to chew on. If we can use data to calculate the most effective and even the most empathetic course of action, what does it really mean to be a good leader anymore?